We've seen it time and time again. We're promised an actor in a role and just before filming, they pull out. Or we hear about an actor who is considering playing the role that they're just perfect for. Or there are rumors of bizarre castings that never would have made any sense. Whether it's Michael Keaton rejecting Batman Forever, or Sean Connery rejecting the role of Gandalf, or Nicolas Cage as Superman, here are 10 crazy castings that almost happened. With a bonus. Chloe Grace Moretz, The Little Mermaid. Chloe Grace Moretz was initially linked to play Ariel in the live-action Disney remake of The Little Mermaid. It makes sense for a young, pretty girl with masses upon masses of hair to play the titular mermaid. Unfortunately for Disney, Moretz, who is already well known for taking dark and disturbing roles, dropped out of The Little Mermaid in order to appear in the remake of Dario Argento's classic 1977 horror movie, While the idea of Moretz as a Disney princess no doubt sprung dollar signs in the eyes of the producers, it seems that you just can't keep Chloe Grace Moretz away from the dark and gritty. David BOREANAZ, Batman. With Bones in its final week of shooting and the series looking to come to a climactic end after years on the television, everyone is talking about David BOREANAZ and Emily Deschanel right now. With David BOREANAZ, best known for his role as Angel on the Buffyverse franchise, it should come as no surprise that the man who played the vampire private detective was offered the role of Batman in Batman Begins. David BOREANAZ was too busy working on Bones at the time to take the role and turned it down, something that we're sure both he and the fans regret. Arnold Schwarzenegger, King Koopa. While he was once hands down the biggest action star both physically and in terms of star power of all time, the great Austrian death machine almost played King Koopa in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. While this does confirm our suspicions that the producers didn't give a crap about the game franchise, it's near impossible to imagine how Arnie could have been Koopa. Dennis Hopper actually played Koopa and we couldn't have imagined it. We're not sure if we're relieved or sad that this didn't happen, but at the very least we can still watch all of Arnie's other classics. Felicity Jones, 50 Shades of Grey. A lot of actors have turned down 50 Shades of Grey, including stars like Emma Watson, Jennifer Lawrence, Charlie Hunnam, and Alex Pettyfer. Another one of those actors who turned down the role is Felicity Jones. While initially saying that she was happy to be in the movie adaptation, she later turned it down as she was unwilling to perform full frontal nudity, despite initially claiming that she would be happy to do it. While Dakota Johnson took her place, Felicity Jones picked up a huge paycheck instead with Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and the hit drama A Monster Calls. While we're sure that Star Wars fans everywhere are currently lamenting the fact that Jones didn't take the role, it doesn't seem like she's missed out in the long run. Tom Hardy, Rick Flag. When Suicide Squad was first announced, it was Tom Hardy rather than Joel Kinnaman in the role of Rick Flag. Needless to say, this raised a lot of eyebrows. It seems strange that Tom Hardy, a huge A-lister who had not long ago played Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, would play a DC character that no one had really heard of. Apparently, Tom Hardy felt the same way, as he pulled out of the role not long after being announced to be in the film. Citing scheduling conflicts, some have speculated that Hardy was unhappy that the screen time of Will Smith and Jared Leto were upped, and his down, or it was to hold out for a more recognizable role in the DCEU, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the near future. Jake Gyllenhaal, Spider-Man 2. While we know that Leonardo DiCaprio was considered for the role in Spider-Man, what a lot of people don't know is that Jake Gyllenhaal almost replaced Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 2. Due to arguments within the studio based around Maguire's unusual behavior and negotiating tactics, Sam Raimi considered replacing him with Jake Gyllenhaal. While it would now be unthinkable to recast a main character in a superhero movie without rebooting the whole franchise, back then it was far more doable. Thankfully or unfortunately, depending on if you're a fan, Tobey Maguire eventually got on board the project properly and went on to make one of the greatest superhero movies of all time. Amy Adams, Janis Joplin. Amy Adams has been a star on the rise for many years, gaining accolades for her work in Julie and Julia, Doubt, and Arrival. Most of her roles stretch her acting ability and put story and character first, which is clearly something that Amy Adams excels at working with. What is crazy though is that she was in talks to play Janis Joplin in a movie based on the rock star's life. Despite a decade older, although looking a decade younger than Joplin, this movie has been in talks for some time. However, due to lawsuits, the production of the movie has been halted. Emma Roberts, Harley Quinn. Often the source of controversy, Emma Roberts is best known nowadays for her roles in Scream Queens and American Horror Story. Dealing with the macabre on the regular, studios initially considered her for the role of Harley Quinn. In fact, she even auditioned and got the part before turning it down for Scream Queens. Other actors considered included Amanda Seyfried and Rooney Mara. After more auditions, the role eventually went to Margot Robbie, which we're glad about, as Margot looks and sounds far more like the character. While Roberts was certainly good enough to be in the part, it was Margot Robbie who is now iconic in the role. Vin Diesel, Aragorn? While it's impossible to imagine him in this role, Vin Diesel was one of the many actors to audition for the role of badass ranger and eventual king Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Vin Diesel is an actor who's largely known for his big brutish roles such as lethal and calculating Riddick in Pitch Dark and Dominic Toretto in the Fast and the Furious franchise. So the idea of him playing Aragorn is a little odd. Thankfully, missing this role early didn't hurt his career at all, as now he is one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood and the star of not one, but two blockbuster franchises in the form of The Fast and the Furious and Guardians of the Galaxy. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Johnny Bravo. This guy, for whatever reason, is movie magic, and any movie he appears in is always a financial success. While he's typically known as playing tough guys like Luke Hobbs in The Fast and the Furious and Hercules, it's not uncommon for Dwayne Johnson to play cuddlier roles in family-friendly films such as The Tooth Fairy and the voice of Maui in Disney's Moana, or comedies such as Central Intelligence. That being said, we're still surprised that not only a live-action Johnny Bravo movie was almost made, but that it nearly starred The Rock, which means we also would have seen The Rock with the almighty blonde quiff. Margot Robbie, Fantastic Four. While she did turn down some smaller indie roles such as A Bigger Splash, she turned down one big role that we know of, that being the role of Sue Storm in the Fantastic Four movie. While she would have undoubtedly been a better pick for the role than the actress the actual movie got, Margot Robbie just didn't like what she saw. She claimed that she didn't resonate with the script despite getting on with the director Josh Trank. Thankfully, this turned out for the best as we were given a pitch-perfect Harley Quinn instead of a better Sue Storm in a dreadful movie. Did we miss anything? Leave a comment and let us know. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and check out the rest of our channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to CBR for cool vids about movies, action heroes, gaming, comics, and more.